Oh, says Caitlin. So we're in here. We're having a blast this morning. How's everybody feeling from Murph? Man, gonna give you a little trigger warning this morning. I'm talking about something that has become very, very popular in the fitness space and in the longevity, them longevity people. People can sell books from talking about this stuff. Um, People can sell a lot of products from talking about the things that I'm going to talk about. Weight vest sales gone through the roof. The stuff that I'm talking about. All the people doing this now, all the people doing high rocks, everybody looking for these ways to train. Everybody's talking about zone 2. It's become, what would you call it? The new I don't know, but everybody's talking about it. You type in fitness, it's all everywhere. Every podcast about how great it is. Everybody should be doing zone 2, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to have some fun with it. But what a start to our week. Let's talk about our week. We're in Hero Week this week. We did Murph yesterday and talk about a long workout. That one is a special workout. You see how hard it is and you know it's hard, but then you get in it and you get 10 rounds in. I did it 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15 this year. And you have 10 rounds to go and you really have to talk to yourself and you have to remember what the point of the workout is and how it, is in memory of somebody. And so you just suffering for a workout, it's going to come to an end, right? And on a day like Memorial Day, you realize there's people really suffering, people who've really lost people who, sacrifice themselves for the country and for what they believed in, regardless of your politics. I think everybody can respect that somebody goes and fights for something that they believe in is very courageous. And I did not have the courage to do that. So I'm very grateful to the people that do. And so far, we have raised around $600, $700 to donate. So let's keep donating. Let's get that up even higher. Let's get that to $1,000 for the Warrior Alliance. You get a badass t-shirt. I wore my High Rocks t-shirt today because I'm talking about Zone 2. I don't know, it's really popular in the High Rocks places. As Bailey said, the demons were talking in my head at round 10. Yeah, I saw you, Bailey. We were right next to each other. Is that when, I think that's when you took your weight vest off and you said, yeah, I'm not doing the weight vest this year. I'll do that next year. And I think that was probably a good decision on your side of things, right? It was so much fun having so many people in the gym. I think there was 55 people did it yesterday, and it was hot in there. It was sticky. It was sweaty, but it kind of adds to it, right? Like you don't want it to be easy. My vest was, I wanted to take that vest off. That's what you want. You want to suffer through it because that's when you get results. That's when you know what you're capable of. That's when you know you can do hard things. So that's what we're about at OxFit. And so that is kind of what I want to talk about today if you guys are down. So it's all about zone 2, okay? And so it's a pretty hot take for me to go into zone 2 because it's everywhere, right? All the longevity people, all the books are getting sold about it. All the weight vests are getting sold. I see people walking slowly around my neighborhood in a weight vest, thinking that that is going to be the thing that gets them the body that they want. It's become really popular. And so I'm going to talk about it in a different light, and I hope you're open to that. Okay, so I think people are using zone 2 as an easy way out. If you've been on Instagram lately, you think zone 2 is the answer to everything. Want to lose fat? Zone 2. Want more energy? Zone 2. Want to live forever, apparently? Zone 2. Want to perform better at anything in fitness? Zone 2. So just get on a bike, stay comfortable, keep your heart rate low, and then all your fitness problems and all your body composition problems and all your strength problems, they'll just vanish, right? Before people get mad at me, which I don't really care if you do, I don't think zone 2 is bad. I've used zone two. I use zone two. For some people, I program zone two. I think it has benefits, but I think zone two is becoming massively overrated because people are using it for the wrong reasons. Not because it's optimal, but because it feels safe, feels comfortable, feels productive for you without you having to get uncomfortable. Fitness has always had this problem. People don't usually look around and want to find out what works. They look for what works without them having to change anything in their life. So years and years ago, it was fat burners, right? Then detoxes, then fasted cardio, and now it's actually just walk more, and we don't have to get into also inject things to make it easier, right? Walking's great, zone 2 is great. But if that becomes your entire identity as an athlete or someone trying to improve your health, you've completely missed the point. Because what we know from 10 years of running this gym, 20 years of being in this industry is what happened when functional fitness started coming in and this high intensity training started popping up is adaptation happens when there's a reason your body has to change. So muscle comes from resistance, capacity comes from exposure, and confidence comes from doing the things that are really hard. You can't accidentally become strong. You can't accidentally become resilient, and you can't accidentally become capable. You got to earn that stuff. And this is what I think people get confused. Zone two's amazing at building an aerobic base. So if that's your only goal, then you can do it and you can improve your recovery, you can improve your efficiency. It can help if you're stressed, go and just, get outside and walk. It can help people who are completely out of shape start to build some consistency. But you don't come to us for that. You come to build muscle. Don't pretend that you don't. You come to perform in a competition like a beach brawl, a high rocks, get faster at your 5K. You come to get better at things like lifting competitions. Whatever it is, you come to get better at competing. You want to just beat your buddy at a 5K, right? You want to increase your work capacity, your ability to do cool stuff for a longer period of time. You want to look athletic. And from 29, when you get your first job, to now we have our legends class, you want to be capable all through that time and be able to just show up and do something hard, right? You don't want something to happen and you not to be ready for it. So if somebody says you want to go play pickleball, you go kick their ass at pickleball. Somebody says, hey, I got a soccer game, you want to come and play? You go play some soccer. Your kid wants to go chase you around the park, you go chase them around the park, and they're going to run out of breath before you run out of breath. So to be able to do that stuff, zone 2 cannot be the main event in your training. You need intensity and you need strength. You need moments where your brain says, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Just like yesterday when we were doing Murph. Because that's where growth lives. And this doesn't mean every workout's got to destroy you, right? Like that's what it used to be like 10, 15 years ago. That's another mistake. You want a well-programmed program, well-programmed gym, well-programmed um, thing to follow, where intensity doesn't always mean suffering. I'm not saying red line every day. I'm saying you've got to train across gears, which is what we do. Some days kind of easy, maybe feel a little zone two-ish. Some days are moderate, and then some days push. That's real fitness. At OxFit, that's what we chase. Not a random workout, not endless comfortable cardio. We build people that can do both. So lift something heavy, move for a long time, recovery day, show up for work, play with your kids, compete when somebody wants to compete. That's fitness. And if zone 2 helps support that, that's great. But if zone 2 becomes your excuse to avoid the challenge, then you're not optimizing anymore. You're negotiating with discomfort. So before you ask, what's the easiest way to get results? Ask instead, what version of me am I trying to become? Because the answer probably isn't more comfort. Use zone 2. Respect zone 2. But just don't confuse staying comfortable with getting better. And that's what I see a lot is people put on a weight vest and slowly walking around the park every day. Now, that is probably the only way most people can get into zone 2 because zone 2 is really, really low, right? No great athlete has ever gone and done a walk run combo, right? That doesn't exist. Zone 2, when you really look at it for elite athletes and people that are achieving amazing things, their zone 2 is our zone 3, zone 4, right? That's why they can sit in zone 2. But they didn't get that from doing zone 2 every day. They got that from training really, really hard, improving their VO2 max, becoming a better athlete, becoming strong, fit, and ripped, and then adding in zone 2 as an extra thing, right? So zone 2 is just a recovery tool for most of us. If you're training for a marathon, then train hard, get really, really strong, and then use zone 2 on your recovery days. Go walk. But some people are just using it as an easy way out, right? The way to really get the benefits of zone 2, you only have, for most people, they say they don't have time. So if you only have 45 minutes to an hour a day, let's say 6 hours a week at most, you want to use that walking slow? You want to use that moving in zone 2? Or do you want to get better at things? Do you want to come to OxFit and get better at something every day? Do you want to challenge yourself every day? Now, most people are going to be like, well, what do you know? Right? Well, I have a great video here from this podcast where this athlete, let me share the screen with you. His name is Steven Scullion, and he did a 2:09 marathon. And I think this clip, let me just bring it up. I think this clip just shares it perfectly. So,
in terms of like if you were going to a track to train, or if you could go out for a run, if you go to a track or train, you could do any type of train and you wanted to help your next race, like your most bang for your buck is still going to be like VO2 max or tempo. But there's still a huge amount of benefit to running in zone 2, like an extremely huge amount. It's basically the same as like threshold, for example, like bottom end of threshold. You're at your most sort of like metabolic state. And so because you're at your sort of most metabolic state, you're just teaching yourself to be like super, super efficient and recruit a huge amount of mitochondria, which is like the science behind it sort of thing. But it is just making you more efficient. I got my zone 2 to like, let's say 340 per K, which like seems ridiculous. And it's not like I'm going to sit here and be like, all I did was spend 3 hours in zone 2 a week, no matter what I had to do. I walked a bit, I jogged a bit. No, I just trained really hard. And over 15 to 20 years, my zone speeds just kind of got quicker.
So there you see, he tells you right at the start, like if you are not an elite marathon runner, then the biggest bang for your buck, if you have 45 minutes to an hour, is to go to a track and work on your tempos, your thresholds, train really, really hard. And like he said, his zone 2 now is incredibly fast, right? Like his zone 2 is insanely fast, faster than our sprints, right? A 2:09 marathon runner. But that came from 15 to 20 years of just training really hard. So we think it's the magic pill is you go and you do zone 2 and you sit on a bike for an hour and that's going to help, or you walk with a weight vest and that's not going to help. You only have an hour a day, 45 minutes a day. You're not going to adapt to anything in that 1 hour a day. You want to get stronger, you want to get fit, you want to get more ripped. That is not where it's going to happen, right?
Of course, it's awesome now that I can go out there and go for a run and my heart rate's in zone 2 and it's at this really quick pace. But I wouldn't necessarily encourage people to deliberately go out there and walk, jog. I can tell you from a factual perspective, there is not a single elite professional athlete on the world stage right now that ever did a walk, jog, run to stay in zone 2.
There is not a single professional elite athlete that did a walk, jog workout to stay in zone 2.
Fact. But if you don't have the time perhaps to dedicate like some elite professionals do or whatever, like there might be an advantage to it. But I would say you're still better just putting in the most people are time constraint or like constraints are family life, work life. And I think literally, if that's your case and you can only dedicate 5-6 hours a week or whatever, you're wasting your time running in like zone 2 or whatever. Honestly, I hate to say it, but I think you are.
If you only have 5 to 6 hours a week, then you're wasting your time training in zone 2, right? This guy ran a 209. He tells you that. He used to just train hard. Go train hard, go get fit. Zone 2 is a recovery tool for most people. It is not a longevity tool. More muscle mass is a longevity tool. Being fitter is a longevity tool. But just building your stamina is not the longevity tool that it's being cracked up to be. It's like when people go and do yoga only and then they think that's going to train them for the rest of their life. Yoga, in my opinion, is a great recovery tool. 2 or 3 times a week mixed alongside your weight training, you can be an absolute beast. But if you do yoga every single day, what about your heart rate? What about your lung capacity? What about your muscle mass? It, like all these new things are coming in. Pilates is blowing up. Standing shaking on a platform with bands is not going to get you more muscle mass. You will not get fitter. You will not get stronger. You will not get more ripped doing Pilates. You will just get better at standing on a board and shaking, which might be great once a week. You got to train hard. There's no way around it. Stop walking around the park with a weight vest on unless it's your one recovery day as an extra session that week.
When I talk about almost like zone 2 that I do now, it's almost like intentionally not jogging on a run. It's putting effort in. Because once your fitness gets to a pretty high place, like almost to stimulate change in physiology, you need to then push a bit. So I could go out for a run. I could run at 4:20 per K, 4 minutes per K, and my heart rate might be 130. And that's what I call like jogging. It's like, Stephen, that's not building fitness, that's jogging. Like, what you doing? So if I have to like try, yes, it's in the zone 2 category, but actually it's that intent. It's the psychology around it. It's like, I'm not messing around today. I'm training. I didn't go in the gym to sit on the spin bike and look good. I'm running, I'm pushing. And that's almost how I got good as a kid, was doing these stupid runs before school, 4 or 5 mile, and I just ran hard. There was no zone. I just went out and ran hard. So whenever I got to the next race, it made sense that I was going to run well because I had trained hard.
It makes
All right. So yeah, glad I got that off my chest. Like I said, there's benefits to zone 2. It's a great extra tool to build some stamina if you need it. But if you have 45 minutes today, you better be doing some functional fitness. You better be doing some high intensity interval training. And if you want to train for something longer, like a triathlon or something like that, then you need to get on one of our coaching programs. This is highly regarded as a book that most endurance athletes don't follow anymore, right? Power, Speed, Endurance by Brian McKenzie. A lot of people say it doesn't work, right? And they say it doesn't work because they're trying to apply it to elite athletes at the top, right? This book has been designed by Brian McKenzie for people like me and you. What do I mean by that? Is I can go and do a triathlon and I can do really well training I got at OxFit in my 1 hour that I have a day. And then once a week, I can add a power, speed, endurance session to it that is not 4 hours. So it will have the right level of intensity. It will build my skills at running. It will build my ability and it will build my threshold, just like that guy was talking about there. I'd rather get faster, stronger, and fitter and better at running and biking and swimming than spend hours and hours away from my family training for this arbitrary number later on that actually isn't going to even get me to my composition goals. So if I go and run 4 or 5 hours a week and bike 7, 8 hours a week and swim 4 hours a week, what am I going to look like in 6 months? Am I going to look strong, fit, capable? Or am I going to look like a triathlete? It's not what I'm going for. If I want to do a marathon and I follow a marathon program, what am I going to look like? I'm going to look like a marathon runner. Again, not what I'm going for. So that's why you come to a program like ours. That's why you hire one of our coaches. That's why you hire Lauren. Lauren at Ox.fit. Her triathlon program starts now. Her endurance program starts now. And I'm excited for us to keep working on this stuff and keep talking about this stuff. Come get strong, come get fit, and come get ripped. Use Zone 2 as an extra tool, but it's not the thing that people are all making it out to be, like it's this magic pill. That's just people that want to avoid intensity and doing hard things. It's a great thing for elite athletes to get better at elite marathons, Tour de France's, and stuff like that. So, hi, Chris. Zone 2 is moving slow and being able to talk. If you want to get one of them fancy wrist straps, then it's around 130, 120. But for anybody else, don't worry about Zone 2. Antidox.fit. Let's get going. Let's get you doing something cool and let's get you really friggin' fit. And if you have 20 extra hours a week, maybe we'll program some Zone 2. Have a great day. Thank you for joining. Go donate to the veterans. Have a great Memorial Week at OxFit. Get one of the badass t-shirts that we've got. And I will see you today. What is today? Sham, deadlift, and 100.